It's water, not soda. My name is Bisque Dolly. I read Sorta Okay on Life for You, and we are reading The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. We are on chapter 10. This 4-part series is a chapter 9, chapter 10 combined, okay? So, we're in chapter 10. Dorian has made the decision to put the portrait of his weird, creepy face all the way up in his old schoolroom. Now, there's a lot of Venetian stuff going on, right? Venetian glass, we covered that in part 1. But then we found out that not only does he have that, but he also has a coverlet heavily embroidered with gold. I hope I said embroidered correctly. A splendid piece of late 17th century Venetian work that his grandfather had found in a convent near Bologna, Italy, obviously. And it was often served as a pall for the dead. And he's using that to cover the portrait. So I'll put a thing right here of what a Venetian embroidered pall thing is. That I'm put it there. So what's going on with this portrait? Well, if you haven't seen any of the other summaries I did up until this point, Dorian made a wish. I want to be beautiful forever. Okay? After his portrait, painted by his friend Basil, was completed, he was like, oh my god, I'm never going to be as pretty as I was 20 minutes ago. I'm going to always age and be ugly. Like, I wish the portrait would get all the age and the creases from the facial expressions that one makes and stuff. Not me. I want to stay pretty and beautiful forever. And we all know that this portrait is starting to reflect the sins of Dorian. Okay, the sins, right? The body is corrupted by time, right? It's going to age, and illness could affect it as well. But the soul is going to be corrupted by your choices and whatever it is that you choose to do. Great. He has a magnificent tool, which is to see how the soul is corrupted by his choices, and therefore he has an opportunity to make good ones, and he doesn't do it. Instead, he decides to hide the portrait away. I had to look up the word impecuniosity, so I'm gonna put that right there because I didn't know what that means. He called some guy who ran a portrait shop or a frame shop and was like, can you just help me move my picture upstairs? And the guy that owns the business was like, sure. It's because Dorian's so popular and pretty, like anybody just wants to get a look at him. And I mean, even some guy like some guy that's running a business is just like, I'll leave my shop just to help you move a big picture from one part of your mansion to the other. That's okay. If I ever become wealthy, please don't let me act like this. Nah, you know what? I don't think I have it in me to act like this. I'll never act like this. So, portrait gets moved up in the attic, covered by a sheet that they use for dead people. And while this whole thing is going on, he's like super suspicious of anybody knowing or wanting to look at that picture, but he feels a little bit more relieved having it moved and locked away. And what do you know? Guess who sends him a letter? But not just anything, not just a letter, but also the paper. And in the paper, highlighted in red, is the inquest regarding Sybil Vane's death. Almost done in a mocking kind of way. So this goes to show you the callousness that Harry has for the death of a young woman like Sybil Vane. He clearly he's making a joke. Okay, it's only been 2 days since she's passed. And of course this triggers Dorian, but not for the same reasons that you would think. So amidst all the mail that like Harry had sent to Dorian is a book, and this book is basically like a hedonist's wet dream. Okay, it's like, oh my god, you do all the bad things, like but it's to the point where I would see that as delirious. But for someone like Dorian, young and impressionable, he finds this to be fascinating and amazing and thrilling, exciting even. I personally am seeing this like, oh my God, you're being played, dude, by some guy. He's definitely like the little devil on your shoulder. I've been saying that over and over and over again, but oh my God. And later on, he goes and decides to join Harry at the club for dinner. And it just seems as though, I don't know, it just seems as though Harry is treating Dorian like a new plaything, and Dorian is just putty in his hands. Like, Harry is like the bad boy. Like, you know, I know that Dorian is, well, a heterosexual character so far, but he really is just a silly boy. Like, Harry's pulling. I don't know if Harry really likes women. I mean, you hear the things he said, you see the joke he made. Like, look at the inquest. It even says here that Dorian like tore the pieces of this inquest apart and felt that it was really ugly, and he thought it was really stupid for Henry to send that to him and mark it with red pencil, and for his butler to see this, because now it's like, oh my God, like, you know how like rich people, they get exposed by their maids and servants and stuff for like quick cash, and it's like, I don't want to be what's the word, blackmailed or something. And it just seems so silly that he is now like very, very paranoid, but still so willing to like delude himself in this like idea that like his life is going to be more and more like beautiful and opulent and like pleasurable, because it's going to be prettier. And I just don't see the beauty in it, and I don't think, you know, the people that join the lives are seeing the beauty in Dorian's choices. But that's it, that's all. End of chapter 10. We finished it, we got it. Hopefully I put in all the things that I said I was going to put in. I read sort of okay online for you. I'll be reading for you really soon. Thank you.